Buongiorno, everybody. Welcome to Dorina's Kitchen. That's me, Dorina. See the D? It stands for me. This is so I don't forget who I am. Anyway, okay. I'm in a mood this morning. I fell asleep on the couch this morning. I got up nice and early. I was all ready and raring to go. I was just like, what the heck? I woke up. It was like, what am I doing? I fell asleep. Anyway, today I've decided, because, I listen to what you guys tell me. I see things, like when I mention something and I hear or see on the little screen, somebody go, yuck. So today I'm going to, I'm going to teach you how to make a Brussels sprouts taste good. I mentioned Brussels sprouts last week, and honest to God, if you have them boiled, unless you grew up Irish and that's how you had them growing up, you probably like them. But for the rest of us, if you're trying to like something you didn't like or you don't think you like, more than likely, boiled's not the way to go. So, first of all, whenever you boil anything, you're pulling out all the vitamins. And the vitamins are in the water, which you tend to throw away, and then you're eating what's left of the vegetables. Yeah, you get some fiber, yeah, you get a little bit of vitamins, but not as much as if you didn't boil them. Unless you're making a soup, and of course, what happens when you make soup? You drink the broth, you see? So that's why sometimes, if you're really feeling crappy and somebody gives you soup, if you can't eat it, just at least drink the broth. That's where all the vitamini are. Vitamins, vitamins. Okay, vitamina vegemin. In order to make something you don't like, you gotta learn how to make it right. So, I always tell people if they have something they don't like, they just haven't had it right yet. But before I get into that, hold on, because I have two other things here I just wanted to share with you real quick, because then I'm going to get them out of the way. This is an empty olive oil bottle. Now look at this cool bottle, okay? I have a hard time throwing things away, but when they're really cool like this, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's an octagonal. It is 8. Octagonal shaped. It's got a nice tight screw top. So guess what? If I take the label off of this is an awesome limoncello bottle. If you're going to gift something, you don't got to go spend a lot of money on bottles, because bottles aren't cheap. And these are prettier. The ones I buy that cost me money, they're expensive and they're just plain smooth bottles. They're nice, don't get me wrong, but this is a beautiful bottle. So this is beautiful. You could use this for wine. You could use this for making your own liquors, the limoncello, the liquore di caffè, the coffee liquor. So, pay attention to what you're throwing away, because sometimes it's useful. So therefore you are recycling, but you're also got something cooler looking than you would have had if you had paid money for it. So you're saving money and being cooler all at the same time. Just like these jars I use. These were from my jarred peaches I get from Trader Joe's. The peaches and pears come in these awesome jars. I use them for my cheese. Anyway, so I wanted to share that with you. Also, just this morning, I finished a loaf of my Ezekiel bread that I like to have my toast in the morning. But these are good bags. And you know what these are good for? You know how, like, when you want to put celery or carrots or something in the fridge, carrot bags, they never do twisty ties. They always put those little tape things around. It's a pain in the neck, and what ends up happening, you always rip the carrot bag. But because these bags are long, these are perfect for things like carrots, celery, leeks. So I always save my bread bags. Bread bags are really good. They're also good if you happen to make breadcrumbs, throw them back in here, tie a knot, there you go, put it in the freezer and you're set. Or, just stuff like that. So anyway, I just thought I'd share the stuff that you should hang on to. It doesn't mean you're a hoarder. It doesn't mean you're a cheapskate. It means you're smart. So I get my nice Ezekiel bag. Look it's nice and wide, and there's breadcrumbs just fell out of it. That's good. Oops. Thought I already emptied it. Anyway, make sure you empty the breadcrumbs first, and then they just, fold up, and I put it in my plastic, I keep one of the little boxes that I emptied from the little lunch bags, and I just keep these babies in them. And then, of course, you're cool. So pay attention to your jars and bottles that you empty, the jelly jars, the pickle jars, the olive jars, the fruit jars, if you buy the ones in the jar. Think about how you can reuse them. Don't save them all, because then you're going to have a whole garage with 20 shelves full of jars that aren't empty. You should have 6 or a dozen empty jars and a whole bunch of full ones. So let me put these aside. and we're gonna get started. So today we're gonna make Brussels sprouts 2 ways. And while I'm talking, I'm going to start getting them ready. So basically, I'm just gonna cut that little ugly, never fails, because they pull them off the stalks. They should just sell them on the stalk. They have this little brown ugly spot, and it's not really bad. It's just dry, but I don't like. So anyway, so I'm going to just cut these off. Now, inevitably when you do that, some leaves fall off. It's okay, just hang on to those because that's that. These are already washed and dried. It's an ugly leaf. If there's a yellow ugly leaf on the outside, then toss it. If they start to turn yellow, that's not good because then they're starting to, I don't know what they're starting to do. They're starting to get bad. They're starting to overly mature. These are really big Brussels sprouts. We're gonna do them a bunch of different ways till everybody comes back and says, I found a way I like Brussels sprouts. So anyway, you can shred them, you can dice them. We're gonna cut them in half. They're like little teeny baby cabbages. They're actually really cute. So anyway, just gonna cut them in half. That's beautiful. Okay, so I got 2, we're gonna do them in half. So, now's the fun part. I've got 2 cast iron pans here. So I'm gonna get these babies warming up. Now, another quick little kitchen tip. Never have your handles facing out, because look what happens if I go by. Bloop. So whenever you can, and especially like me here, the end of my counter's here, so if I have like my big frying pan with the long handle, I have it out there, something could go flying. Always make sure your handles are out of the way. They can be angled this way too, towards you, but since I'm not using my back burners right now, I'm angling them away from me. But that's really important. It's kitchen common sense, it's kitchen safety, so just, pay attention. So I'm gonna get these nice and hot. Really important, one of these we're going to make with pancetta. Today's only Tuesday, so we can have meat. So I have some pancetta because I get packages of it, or big pack. And you want to see what I just got? Let me show you. I just got a big package of pancetta. This is the twirled kind. There's also the kind that just basically, it's pork belly is what it is. And so it's basically bacon that's been not cured like bacon. So anyway, but this is one way to get it. Sometimes I buy it already chopped up in little cubes. Sometimes I get it and chop it up in big cubes. I've got it in all manners because if I had to give up meat, I totally could. Just leave me my pancetta. Okay, so these are nice and hot. So now, one of the things I'm going to do is actually, this one I'm going to turn on low because that's the one we're going to do a different way. I'm going to just put a little teeny bit of oil in that one. I'm going to put a little bit more in this one. Actually, okay. Okay, and I have a couple of tongs here. So one thing that's really simple is, number 1, sear them, okay? Because it pulls the sweetness, because Brussels sprouts aren't really sweet. So like if I take one and put it here, well, I'll salt and pepper them in the pan. But if I put it in here, oh, there, it just popped. I don't know if you saw that, but anyway, it's searing in the pan. So, after only a few seconds, it'll start to turn, there we go. It'll start to turn golden. But what I'm gonna do in this pan right now is put some of this pancetta. I'm not gonna put the whole bag in, but we're gonna put in some. And I'm gonna get that starting to crisp up, okay? Because it's not only cooking, but it is flavoring the oil that I put in there, plus it's making more oil because of the fat. So we're just gonna put some of these in here. What I like to, I'll put like a whole bunch of them in, but what I will do is then with my tongs, I will turn them and put them all face down. So make sure the flat side is down, because that part will really sear best. So try to get them between the pieces of pancetta. This is not, chefy or sciencey. This is mama saying, move the pancetta over. And this is just one easy way we're gonna get started. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt on top, but not too much because the pancetta is salty. A little pepper. Now you can also, if you wanted to, you could put hot pepper flakes in there. That's always an option for anything you do. It's purely your taste. Now, this other way, I'm gonna do, this is just kind of a me thing I do once in a while. So I'm gonna put these in a bigger bigger bowl here. Just gonna kind of lightly toss them in oil so that they're all wet. This is kind of, yeah, I don't feel like getting my hands greasy. Usually I do this with my hands. Just make sure that they're all kind of loved with the oil a little. And it looks like they are. Now there's a couple different things you can do. This is the one way, because I'm going to do Brussels sprouts a couple different ways over the next couple of weeks. So take some Romano cheese or Parmesan cheese, and then you're just going to take this and flatten it flat side in the cheese. Ha ha ha. Okay, let's see, is this nice and hot? So watch this. We're just gonna sear it cheese side down. Put it on higher. And actually, I should have like salt and peppered these too. You don't need too much salt because again, it's got the cheese in it. But we're going to just get that in there. And then we're gonna do, you know, we can, ooh, those babies are doing nice. We're just going to put these, just smush them in the cheese. You can do it all around or just the flat side, but you're gonna do it flat side down. So I gotta do these guys, and they're gonna have to wait because my other ones here are going to burn. Okay, look at this. Look at the beautiful golden color on this. So now we're gonna turn them over. Get this pancetta cooking. The pancetta's all crisping up. I like the pancetta really crispy. You can do it how you like. I like it so it's like crunchy. Now you want to let those sit and melt for a minute because you want them to really, you want that cheese to stick. So if it sticks on there, oh yeah, because see, this is what it should look like. Woo, that's hot. See, the cheese has really melted to it, so I'm going to start turning some of these over. As you're turning them over, if they don't, like if they're sticking, then they're not ready to turn over yet. But if the cheese has totally melted on it, then it's so good. So now that these are kind of getting there, I'm just going to start tossing these babies around. Now this is the simplest of the simple. So there are lots of ways. You could put, you know, I could have put garlic in here. I could have put, what else is really nice with the pancetta ones is cherry tomatoes. You can, but again, we're going simple. I just want one thing at a time. So this is one way, not the only way, but one way. Now it also depends on how you like them crispy wise. Porchetta. You know, these are still a little bit firm, but I can stick a fork in them, which for me is good. I don't like them soft. And wait, look at the bright color that these are. Yeah, let's do it this way because you can see it better. Look how bright they still are, but they've got these beautiful golden, you know, brown. Well, that's kind of a little burnt. You know, I like that, but a little burnt leaf. Yeah, heck with it. Now these also, the ones with the pancetta, you can, then you scoop up the pancetta on top, and it is just so, little pieces. Make sure you get every little piece of that pancetta out of there because that's like the best part. So look how pretty that is. I mean, it's really beautifully bright green. It's golden on the other side, a little bit of golden on this side where the top was in there too. And that's one way to have them. I'm gonna let them cool off for a minute. And this, that's a very hot. Now these ones over here with the cheese. So let's see how they are cooked. Oh yeah, oh yeah. These, there we go. So these are also beautiful golden with a little bit of, you know, seared side, but then they've got this beautiful golden top with the cheese crusty on it. Oh, yes. See, these ones I put in, well, the last ones I put in, they're still a little light, so I'm going to let them sit in there for another minute. But here you've got these beautiful cheese crusted. I'm going to take one of these. Whoop, ouch, hot. I was going to take a cheese crusted leaf, but I guess I'm not. So right here we have two ways to make Brussels sprouts. both really tasty, and in a second, I'm gonna let you watch me taste one. Let's move this stuff out of the way so I'm not knocking things over. Take my fork. Let's see if I can take this little one. So, first of all, olive oil makes everything taste good. Secondly, so does pancetta. So anything like here, look, a little leaf with some little chunks of pancetta. Get the crunch of the pancetta. Now, let's see if one of these is soft enough for me to eat. And I'll tell you if it came out any good. These are good. You know these are hot, but I just took them out of the pan. So I have to shusha. That means blow on it. But doesn't shusha sound better? You know, you say blow on it, it sounds so, But, you know, shusha. I need some wine. Man, anything you crust cheese on, look at, right here are two of the best flavor enhancers of a dish. Pancetta and Romano cheese. You can't beat that. See how don't want to use the fork I just ate off of. These babies are cooking up a little bit more. Just don't want to burn them. And I had those other three back there that didn't fit in the pan. I'll do afterwards. But, you know, when in doubt, cheese and pancetta, together or separate, will always enhance the flavor of something you don't like. So you can always hide it until you like it. But, you know, then what happens is then you start realizing that you like the flavor of what's underneath the cheese. My favorite part, these little leaves that kind of burnt, but they got cheese on them. They're like cheese crisps. Anyway, so what do you think of that? Please, 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 would you subscribe to my YouTube channel? It's also labeled as Dorina's Kitchen. You can follow me on Instagram. Also, guess what? Dorina's Kitchen. You guys are the beginning of me. You're the beginning of Dorina's Kitchen. You guys have been, so many of you have been with me since last March and before. There's some of you who followed me way before I even did a show, but then those of you who jumped on when I started the show, I love you, I thank you, I commend you, I bow to you for just, I thank you for liking me. I mean, that sounds corny, but I thank you. So you guys are the best. I love you to pieces. Make some Brussels sprouts. And I want to know if you're a non-Brussels sprout loving person, I want to know if you try one of these and if you become, you know, a Brussels sprouter. So be a sprouter. So anyhow, that's it. I'm going to go cry now because I'm sappy. And I'm going to eat my Brussels sprouts with Pasquale. I'm going to make a little pasta al olio on the side. And I have some mozzarella burrata that I'm going to have cut one. Stupid me. I got to eat it. You know why? Because I opened the refrigerator and left the door open for a minute and the door went to shut on its own and it knocked, something jiggled. And my thing of burrata, brand new, still sealed, fell out of the fridge, broke open. They didn't fall out. It landed straight up, but the plastic broke. The juice got all over the floor. That's why I was late. And so, got to eat it now. It's open. That's okay. I love burrata. To me, that's like, oh, so good. Little balsamic, little extra virgin olive oil, some of my Italian that I brought from Italy. I have one bottle left. Really yummy. Anyway, I have the word. I'm such an Italian saying goodbye, aren't I? Bye. See ya. Ciao. 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 Oh my gosh. Getting off the phone with an Italian, you say goodbye like 100 times. So I'm just going to walk over here and I'm going to say goodbye. Ciao. One more time. Bye.